Okay, anyway, so today we'll focus on new chapter, that is third chapter. Okay, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
So now it must be visible. Okay, so today we'll focus on this third chapter. Second chapter we have done. In this third chapter, we are going to discuss about the foundations, different types of foundations, and which foundation we need to provide, general principle for design and bearing capacity equations. Okay, Tirjagis and Pandit's bearing capacity equation will discuss. Okay, so is it visible? Should I continue?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So as you know, okay, you might have studied in your basics civil engineering class. So this is the building, and below the building will be having this foundation. Okay. So above this soil is called the superstructure, and below that we call it as a substructure, or nothing but the foundation. So so all the load would be transferred to these foundations. Okay, that's why we always says, right, foundation should be strong. So whole load will be transferred to the soil and to the foundation, and this foundation to the soil. So foundation is a artificial laid base on which the structure is built. So foundation required for distributing the load from the superstructure to the large area. So 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 the soil should withstand this particular foundation pressure. So which soil is good for our foundation? If I ask you, which soil is good for foundation? The soil which is sandy and gravelly is good for our foundation. Okay, so clay type of soil is not good for our foundation because it try to settles down and it is very soft. So so foundation should be designed such a that soil does not fail in shear and settlement is in the safe limit. So two criteria we will follow. Okay, so so these are the footings, isolated footing are shown in the figure. So on a sandy soil, gravelly soil, uh, so here individual footings are resting on this soil. Okay, these are isolated foundation and it will be backfilled. So what is the functions of the foundations? It reduces the load intensity. Foundation distributes the load of the superstructure to a large area, and the pressure at the base is pressure. So safe bearing capacity is the pressure that can be safely carried by the soil considering the shear. So the soil should carry the pressure very safely without failure. Failure means it will shear. When shear occurs, what happens? This particular foundation is going to settles down. Because of this settlement, what happens? You could see the some cracks in the building. Okay, so what we do is suitable factor of safety also we'll consider it. So suppose if it carries 1 ton, we say that it carries half ton only. Okay, so in that way, some factor of safety also will take care. We will use it. Then foundation distribute the non-uniform load of the structure evenly to the subsoil. For example, two columns carrying the unequal load can be combined footing. That means both the footing can be combined if they are carrying the unequal load. Okay, and lateral stability, it anchors superstructure to the lateral stability. That means there may be a lateral load because of the wind if it is a high rise tower. Okay, so what this foundation generally anchors it. So it provides the lateral stability also. Okay, against sliding, overturning, and so on. Okay, because of the earth pressure or earthquake or a wind load and so on. So safety against the undermining, that it provides this structural safety against the undermining or scoring due to the burrowing of animals or flood and so on. Okay, so protects against the underlying the soil movement. Soil movement refers to the expansion or the contraction sometimes. Okay, so this particular foundation is very important for our soil. So always we should see that this foundation is laid on a sandy soil or a gravelly soil. Okay, if you structure is built on black cotton soil, what happens? You could see the swell and the shrink because of the Montmorillo mineral in the clay type of soil. So in that case, we will provide some special foundation like pile foundations and so on, or under rimmed piles also will provide. Okay. So it requires to sustain the dead load, impose load, and transmit load to the subsoil. Okay, and foundation base should be rigid so that differential settlements are minimized. So that what happens, the foundation settles down. Okay, one foundation settles down more, and one foundation is very stable. In that case, you could see the differential settlement. Because of the differential settlement, you can observe 45 degrees cracks in the buildings. Okay, so foundation minimum foundation depth should be at least 50 centimeter. That means half a meter below the ground surface. Otherwise, we cannot keep foundation on the surface, right? So minimum we should provide half a meter. Then only it will give some stability to the lateral. It will give some lateral stability. But if you provide much deeper, that would be always better. That's why pile foundations are always better. So foundation should be placed above the groundwater table. Okay. So always we should try to keep that foundation above the groundwater table. What happens otherwise when the groundwater table changes, then what happens? Effective stresses changes. Okay. So because of that pore pressures and all, what happens? The bearing capacity will reduces. So foundation should be located such that it performs may not be affected by the unexpected future influence. In the sense, the future influence may be even new footing constructed close to the existing one. After construction, the building. Okay, so if new construction starts, you could see that so many cracks in the existing building. So always we should see that either we should go for a wrap foundation so that it won't affect the neighboring buildings. So you can see, you can observe, okay, in your locality that some wherever new construction takes place, there is a more chances of cracks in the existing building. So there are two types of the foundation which is classified. One is the shallow foundation, and the second one is the deep foundation. In the shallow foundation, when the shallow foundation terms, uh, the shallow foundation is where the depth is less than the width. Okay, less than or equal to width. So in the shallow foundation, what happens? There are so many types again shallow foundation. We have strip footing, we have isolated footing, and so on. So when general we go for the shallow foundation, wherever the soil is very good, the gravelly, whatever I have shown you here, right? So these are our shallow foundations. Where the soil is good, we'll go for a shallow foundation. Where the soil is very soft, black cotton soil, then we'll go for a pile foundations. So this is the one type of foundation, that is the wall footing, right? This footing is provided along the wall, throughout the wall. Okay, you might have seen in the villages. So in our old houses, houses. So they directly place the slab on this wall. Understand? So this is used for light structures. That means, so along the wall, they they go for a footing, and over the wall directly they place the uh, slab. Okay, so there is no beams and columns here. Direct on the wall, they provide the slab. So these walls are called load bearing walls. Okay, in the isolated footing is we provide a footing. The footing can be square or rectangular. Over that, we connect this column, and from the column it is connected to the slab, and over the slab we'll construct a wall. So these are all the isolated footings. So square footing will provide, from that we'll take out this column or pillar, and it is connected to beam, and that after that then it is connected to the slab. These are all called the isolated footing. The second one is the strip footing. The first, this is the isolated one, or it is called spread footing. It provides support to an individual column. Okay. Suppose the footings are very near this isolated footing, then what we do, we just combine it, or this footing bears more load, or to avoid the differential settlement, what generally we do is we combine those footings. That is called the combined footing. Okay. So combined footing supports the two columns and can be rectangular. Okay, or can be trapezoidal shape also. Then strap footing. It consists of two isolated footing connected structural member called strap. Okay, here this is the strap. The strap doesn't bear any load. Okay, just a connection between two. It's like a beam connection to avoid the differential settlement here. So this particular more, and this may settle less. So uniformly settlement, to give the uniform settlement, or to reduce the differential settlement, these strip columns are provided. The strap footings are provided. So how it looks like? Okay, this is the plan. Where strap beam. Then finally, a raft or mat foundation, like names as name suggested, like a whole ground is filled with a concrete, full concrete, and the reinforcement are taken out from that like a columns. So this particular type of foundation is called the raft foundation. Why raft foundations are useful? When generally we go for a raft foundations, where to avoid the differential settlement, or there are some uh, method. I mean, if this particular individual footing area increases the actual area more than 50% of the actual area, will go for these raft foundations. Okay, so in the cities you are able to see all high-rise building, they have provided these raft foundations. Next is the deep foundations. So what are the deep foundations? We have, this is the deep foundation, pile foundation. So where the soil is soft, okay, what we have to do, we have to go for a greater depth, and we have to search for a hard strata. Once you see this hard strata, we generally keep all our piles on the hard strata. Then over that we'll construct a pile cap over that. This is the structure, and these are all the piles. Here these are the piles and the coastal structures. Okay, generally we go for these piles may be located on the sloping ground, and maybe these piles can be steel, can be concrete, and so on. Okay, so all these piles generally we provide at a greater depth. Greater means how many meter? Maybe 10 meter, 15 meter, maximum 20 meter, and so on. And the shallow foundation may be maximum 3 to 2 to 3 4 meter maximum. Okay, so and this is one more type of foundation that is called the well foundations. It's like a well. Okay, so for all our bridges, if you see, they provide these well foundations. They will dig like a well, and in that the whole periphery is constructed with the concrete. Inside that they fill with the sand also here. Okay, over that again the pile cap and so on. So it is a very big what do you say subject, foundation engineering. Okay, but in your BTech you are going to study the very basic things. What are different types of foundation? We are not going to see the design part of this well foundation and all. Just try to understand what is this well foundation is all about. You just search in the Google. Okay, and you will understand. And this is again it is called the piers. Okay, pier is nothing but the bigger size diameter piles. Okay, pier is a vertical column of relatively larger cross section than the pile. It is exactly like a pile. Okay, and diameter is greater than 60, I mean centimeter, generally one more than 1 meter diameter. Above 1 meter we generally call it as a piers. Okay, so it is similar like a cash institute pile, exactly like a pile, but of greater depth. Okay, we call it as a pier. You might have seen nowadays. Okay, all big shopping complexes, high buildings, they have this bigger size of piles, that is called piers. Okay, and caisson, as the name says, is a kind of foundation laid for a underground structure. So what we'll do is uh, in the underground structure, you might have seen how generally we foundation would be laid. Okay, we'll provide this caisson, and here will not allow the water to enter it. Then we'll cast this concrete. After that, when the concrete become hardened, then we'll remove this casing. That's how generally we do in our bridges. Okay, either we will divert the water, or when water, still water is there, there also we can construct this kind of foundation. Okay, a hollow watertight box is sunk through the ground for laying down the foundation. So these are the advanced foundations. Okay, if you want to do take PhD like I have done. Okay, so my PhD on the pile foundation only. So if you want to do pile for PhD in pile foundation and so on, so we will go much deeper. But for your undergraduate level, the basic level, what type of foundation we need to provide, the choice and the type foundation is enough. Okay, and Terzakis bearing equations. So choice of the foundation is governed by the nature of the structure and the load exerted by the structure, how much load is exerted on the structure, the nature of the structure in the sense what kind of structure it is, a small building, big building, high-rise buildings, and so on. Okay, how much load it is coming, and the subsoil characteristic, what type of soil it is. Okay, and the allotted cost for the foundations. So based on that one, we'll just select the foundations, whether it may be raft, okay, or a pile foundation or bearing capacity. I mean, a shallow foundation where the bearing capacity is very good. So based on that, we'll decide the choice of the foundations. Again, it is depend on the soil only. Okay, based on the soil, our load and so on, superstructure what we are going to construct. Deep foundations are used especially when the top layer of the soil is very soft and there exists a good bearing strata at a reasonable depth. Okay, it should be noted that deep foundations are much expensive. Okay, and adapted only when the shallow foundations are not feasible. So these deep foundations will, because we will provide for a depth of 10 to 15 meter of concrete. So it is much costlier compared to the shallow foundations. Okay. So in a certain situation, a fully compensated floating raft may be more economical than the deep foundation. In the sense, in the raft foundation, what we are doing is we are removing the soil at a shallow depth, and it is filled with the concrete, full concrete. So whatever load we have removed, it may be compensated with the concrete. So net increasing the stress would be zero. Understand? So finally, it is important to prepare estimate cost and other things. Okay. Uh, so so this is all about this types of the foundations and so on. Okay. So let's comes to our this Aurora book. So 17 and 19 chapters you have for your city and bearing capacity of solar foundations. Okay. So 587. We have started this one. Okay. 23. So we have started this one. Okay. So just I have taken the shallow foundation, so on. I have shown some one so that from next class we will go for these basic definitions and this one. Okay. Rankine's and Terzaghi's bearing equations. So these equations are very, very simple. Okay. Terzaghi's bearing equation is very, very important. So these are the basic definition. The ultimate bearing capacity. So what is the ultimate bearing capacity? Just I will go through in short. Then ultimate bearing capacity is this definition you should remember. Okay. The ultimate bearing capacity is the gross pressure at the base of the foundation at which the soil fails in shear. So that ultimate bearing capacity of a soil that is represented with the QU. Okay. Bearing capacity is the gross pressure at the base of the foundation. Okay. Net ultimate capacity is the net increasing the pressure at the base of the foundation that causes the shear failure of the soil. It is equal to the gross minus pressure minus overburden. Overburden is gamma df. If the foundation is at a depth of df, here gamma is the unit weight of the soil, df is the depth of the foundation. That means that the overburden pressure, if you remove it, okay, from the ultimate, you will get the net ultimate bearing capacity. What is net safe? Net safe is, it is the net ultimate bearing capacity. Okay, this one divided by factor of safety 3 is it is the net soil pressure which can be safely applied to the soil considering the only shear failure is obtained by dividing the net ultimate bearing capacity, this one, by the suitable factor of safety. Sometimes we will take 2.5, sometimes we will take 3. Okay. So now grass safe bearing capacity, it is the maximum grass pressure which the soil can carry safely. That means without shear failure, it is equal to the net safe bearing capacity, the previous one, plus gamma df. Okay, overburden pressure, nothing but the grass safe. Understood? And next, some authors may refers in this way. Okay, net safe settlement. It is the soil can carry without exceeding the allowable settlement. The maximum settlement generally varies 25 mm to the 40 mm. So when you come for the next class, you read this basic definition and come. So I'll explain all this thing again. So just I have shown you. This chapter we have started.